Welcome back to Astrology Experts YouTube. In this channel, we hope to bring you clarity and be the bridge to the answers you're seeking from the universe. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do so. Come join our growing family as we evolve our spirituality while on this human experience. Together, we share the same love for astrology, numerology, angel numbers, and zodiacs. For today's video, you'll be learning about zodiac compatibility, so get your coffee or tea ready and sit with us till the end of this video. Gemini and Capricorn compatibility. As a grounded earth sign, Capricorn knows where he or she stands on just about everything. Gemini is a walking, talking, learning experience. She openly questions everything, while Cap can be staunch in his convictions, which are strongly rooted in past tradition and experience. Gemini sees most situations from multiple perspectives. For Gemini, there are many truths rather than just one universal truth. Values and emotions. Most people don't change their core belief systems, residencies, or interests more than a couple times throughout their life. Capricorn may never do this at all. His life is often a steady climb up, treacherous terrain, but he knows where he's going, and that it's straight to the top. Gemini often lives without means to ends, which bore them. Like air, its elemental ruler, Gemini can be everywhere all at once. Capricorn's feet are firmly rooted in the earth. They're not easily lost in flights of fancy. Compatibility rating 3 out of 10. Friendships. Notice that I said Capricorns are not easily lost in flights of fancy. I didn't say that they don't take flights of fancy. Despite traditional astrology's insistence that Capricorns are stodgy creatures who only experience life with the 5 senses, goats fantasize a lot. In fact, their love of fantasy is probably the wildest thing about them. Often ascending from hard-lived early childhoods, goats seek to escape second-rate mediocrity at all costs. The last thing they want to do is stop cultivating themselves intellectually and developing spiritually just to create an average life with an average mate or friends. That's why Gemini so readily appeals to Capricorn. Fast-talking, sophisticated, and as magnetic as they are magnanimous, Gemini seem extraordinary in every way. They know a lot about everything. They're charismatic communicators and appeal to Capricorn's wild side. One age-old astrological myth about Capricorns is actually not a myth at all. Capricorns are reserved. Even when they have a fiery ascendant or moon, they usually need some help coming out of their shell and showing the world who they are. Gemini happily helps them do just that, opening the world up to them in ways they may have never thought possible. In turn, the Capricorn's active manifestation, emotional strength, and unwavering support helps turn some of Gemini's wildest dreams and schemes into reality. In fact, this can be quite a magical friendship that is not without its share of conflict, but also not without its unique joys. Compatibility rating 5 out of 10. Relationships. As mentioned before, Capricorn sees herself as climbing up a steep mountain of life and wants to make sure the view at the top is extraordinary. With Gemini, it'll be. The cold dead of winter will be warmed by the promise of spring in the eyes of a Gemini. When spring does come around, the world will seem to bloom like some hot volcanic flower, made sweeter by Gemini's romantic virtues. No matter the season, Saturn ensures that Capricorn will be plagued at times by dark moods that drown her in memories of past and trauma. Gemini has the ability to lighten the Capricorn's burden, and practical Capricorn responds to the twins' logic. However, Gemini might be too emotionally detached to really empathize with Cap's suffering. Like Scorpio, the Capricorn heart holds an ocean depth of love, but it is guarded by walls of ice. Remember that the original symbol for Capricorn was a sea goat, its fishtail steeped in deep waters. This predicament can give Capricorn the sense of having a secret identity, an emotional depth no one knows. Actually, the goat holds her emotions even more tightly within than Scorpio, often detaching from them altogether, but they're there. Gemini's grand, if quirky, romantic gestures, subtle lovemaking, and the way he notices every nuance of her being, at times all invites Capricorn's loving core out to play. Caps do so believing for an instant that expressing themselves so freely might lead to joy rather than sorrow. Most Capricorns have a wounded child self that needs to play and be nurtured. Gemini can certainly play, but nurturing is more complicated for them. The twins are mercurial beings. One day, they're warm and enthralled by a lover, and the next, they're coldly logical and detached. When this happens, Capricorns retreat. Inwardly sensitive, he or she may resolve never to come out again. That is, until Gemini dances back into their world with a unique sentimental gift and a smile as bright as the sun. Compatibility rating 4 out of 10. Marriage. These two will only make a deeper commitment if they can live in harmony with each other's differences. If Capricorn can learn not to personalize Gemini's mercurial moods and duality, they'll reap the benefits of living with the twins. This includes romance, intellectual and emotional excitement, and loyalty. However, the loyalty part is likely contingent on whether Cap allows Gemini to be completely herself and doesn't impose stature and restrictions on the twins. This relationship won't lead to a deeper commitment unless Gemini opens up emotionally. They need to be able to show one another and their nurturing sides frequently to sustain this marriage. Because believe it or not, and these two might not believe it, they both need more than their fair share of nurturing. Despite the fact that Cap can be more traditional than Gemini, Capricorn doesn't rush Gemini to the altar. Goats usually take as much time as Geminis to surrender to the love that blooms between them. That's why, when they do assimilate their inner workings and find a way to live in harmony together, it usually lasts longer than anyone expected. There is another delightful ingredient to this recipe. Goats are born wise old men and women, often to some degree of hardship. They seem to grow younger with age, rather than the opposite. While a 20-year-old goat may be emotionally rigid and too immersed in her own personal development to risk falling in love, a 30 or 40-something-year-old goat is more open to it. In fact, it is often a rite of passage for a goat to open her emotional core and make herself more vulnerable as she ages, for as she reaps the benefits of her self-preservation, she discovers the joy of the emotional depth she hid away for survival in earlier years. Here she wants to discover the joy of love, but usually needs some outside influence to do so. If Cap is going to do this with one of the less stable signs, I personally recommend Pisces over Gemini, because fish are more in touch with their emotions and more nurturing. But we can't help who we fall in love with, can we? And a marriage between a goat and the twins can be a very happy one indeed, if they align their stars. Compatibility rating 4 out of 10. Communication. By now we all know that Geminis are avid communicators. Sometimes they can be cold and detached, yes, but the most emotional thing about them is their intuition. When they tap into it, they sense exactly who people are, how they feel, and what they need. If anyone can convince Capricorn to shake up their nightly melancholy and break out onto a dance floor, it's Gemini, just so long as she fixes the goat a piping hot chamomile tea at the end of the night and indulges him in the comforts of home. Gemini is very perceptive, but when something distracts her, she can be very oblivious. Capricorn needs to grasp that just because Gemini goes off on her own flights of fancy, it doesn't mean she's entirely removed, and if she really loves him, she will be back. Compatibility rating 3 out of 10. Sex and intimacy. Gemini likes to talk about sex, whereas most Capricorns prefer to experience it physically. Of course, sex is about physical pleasure for everyone. However, Gemini's main sex driver is mental stimulation. Fortunately, Capricorn is also an intellectual sign with a lot of psychological hang-ups for a Gemini to play with. Although the women like their partners to probe them psychologically during sex more than men, sex is a psychological affair. This is even the case for male goats. The males tend to act out emotional issues sexually in the form of kinks, namely domination. Gemini is usually receptive to this. The women usually like to switch between dominance and submission, which also suits variety-loving Gemini just as fine. Still, Gemini will need to be more physically demonstrative to satisfy the healthy libido of this earth sign. Another unique benefit of this sexual relationship is that many Capricorns, although not all, agree with Gemini that sex and love should be fulfilling, but not all-consuming. Saturn's restrictive influence usually prevents Cap from fully abandoning herself to anything. This may not be the case though, if Cap has a lot of water or fire in her chart. Compatibility rating 4 out of 10. Gemini Capricorn Compatibility Pros. Gemini's sunny disposition and lightness of heart often lifts Capricorn's heavy spirits. Capricorn provides Gemini with the support and stability he or she needs to grow in every area of life. There's usually a strong intellectual bond between these two seemingly stark opposites. Gemini Capricorn Compatibility Cons. Capricorn's approach to life can be too conservative for Gemini. The twins need the freedom to explore life in many different capacities. Capricorn is a cardinal sign and Gemini is a mutable sign. Thus, Cap may override the decisions in the relationship until Gemini gets fed up and retreats into a diversion. Both can be so emotionally detached that neither gives themselves up fully to love. This makes their coexisting more peaceful but also less passionate. Summary of Gemini and Capricorn. In some ways, these two couldn't be more different, and this relationship is not without conflict. Even Gemini-Capricorn friends are prone to moodiness and disagreement. Capricorns who know who they are simply can't keep up with a Gemini's changeable moods and duality. They may ask themselves, how can this person be the warmest, most stable influence in my life, yet sometimes leave me alone when I need her the most? Gemini, a more cerebral sign than Capricorn, might ask themselves, what the hell did I get into with this depressive human being? Why is he or she so uptight? And why does he take everything so seriously? A harmonious relationship between them requires them to accept each other fully for who they are. When they do so, this relationship can be more special and rewarding than either of them originally conceived of. Overall compatibility rating, 3 out of 10. Thank you so much for riding with us till the end. If you like that, please give this video a thumbs up. And again, don't be shy. Click that subscribe and be a part of Astrology Experts community. Like most of us an astrology expert who love reading, you can come visit our website. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. See you on the next video!